Hey guys, Unfair Advantage Films here, bringing you Empires: Dawn of the Modern World. Right now what we're doing is a 3, 4, 5 player game between me, some of my friends, and all of us. We've done these sort of tournaments before. I'm the Franks, and you'll see who everybody else is. But we got all sorts of shit going on right now, and we're just about to start. So I'm going to let you guys in. I'm going to do sort of some editing after this just to see how the commentary works. But as you can see, I'm playing as a Franks. I'm going to go through some basic stuff while kicking ass at the same time. Right, 1 second.
Yes, great one.
I kind of off the cuff just said, right, we're recording this. So, as you can tell, I haven't made a video in a hell of a long time. It's been a while. My computer has fallen way below recommended specifications for games, so I can't really bring you guys any new games. I can bring you guys stuff like this. I do have another game coming up that will be fun, that I'm going to produce shortly. But I am working this summer, which is awesome, so I'm getting a lot of money together and building one hell of a rig. So that means Rome 2. I've got a really good campaign coming up with an intense rival of mine who's American Italian, and I'm ever in favor of the Carthaginians, so I'm just going to crush him relentlessly, and he thinks he can win. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a charged campaign. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. But right now what I'm going to bring you guys is Empires. So this game, for you guys that haven't been to my channel before, is made, it was 2003, I think. And it was called Empire Earth 1.5, pretty much. It was made by the studio that made the original Empire Earth, and this game features originally 4 factions. So you've got Franks, England, China, and Korea. But this game goes from the medieval era to the era of the Second World War, which is what we're playing to. We're playing to the Second World War today, which is really fun. So the factions end up diversifying. So say I'm Franks right now. By the time I hit the First World War, I can choose to be Germany, I could choose to be France. There's all sorts of choices. Same thing like the Koreans, they can be North or South Korea, being supporting the Americans or the Russians, or they could even support the French and become a more sort of Vietnamized, sort of independent place, which is cool. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can do in this game. It's a lot of fun, and the selling feature, if you look at my population cap, that's no mod. That's legitimate. We've got 80,000 population shared between all of us, which is awesome. I really like that. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, this game's really great, and I've played it a lot, and it's going to be on my YouTube a little more, depending on how successful these videos go. Now, the way that we're playing right now is essentially you can't go to war with people without an actual reason. So that's one of the main rules, is that you can't really just decide, oh, I'm just going to declare war on people. So it's a lot more fun. It adds a lot of diplomacy to the game. A lot of those guys are on TeamSpeak right now, but I am going to make an alliance with this evil character. She's newer to the game. She's not that good yet. And I'm the strongest player on here. I did a 7 versus 1 that I wish I had recorded for you guys, but at one point it was, yeah, there's 7 of them versus me. I was the Russians, and I just destroyed them. It was great. I beat a 7 versus 1. I picked their alliance apart, and it was fun. Hopefully we should get some good diplomatic action in on here, but it's not with TeamSpeak. Apologies. It's not with TeamSpeak right now. So we will worry about that whenever we come to it, but I think we may be able to put some TeamSpeak in that. But right now I want to bring you guys some gameplay. I want to show you guys how the game works. As I said earlier, I might go through with some editing and pick out some of these parts that are a little slower, like at the beginning. But I think that's what I shall be doing. So right now, as you can see, I'm just building up my economy. Now my general strategy with these French is that they have free farms. So these granaries don't cost anything, which is a huge advantage because it means you can get a lot of food early on, which helps your economy really boom. So what I'm going to do is fill this farm with as many farmers as I can. Oh, look, see, this is the diplomacy happening here. So what I'm going to do is just let this guy know that, no, I'm not really. Sorry. Hard to type and speak at the same time. I'm trying to let these guys know that I don't want them laying over the location of my bases. This evil character, she's funny, but she's a little new to the game, but she is very loyal from what I've seen, so I don't think she's going to be... Yeah, see? She's declaring war on other people. I'm going to let her know that she has to be careful. Oh! Oh, what's this? She's allying with somebody else right here. 1 second. Yeah, I don't trust that guy. No way.
Yes, great one. Yes, great one. Tis done. No sooner said.
Right, we should have the farm growing. Oh, okay, the farms don't cost any food either. So farming really is completely free with the French, which is great. So we should be able to rake in a lot of food, which is great. The way that town centers work in this game is you have your town center, which you start off with, but then there's settlements, which are like resource drop-off points. If you've ever played Age of Empires, it's like a lumber camp and a mining camp and a mill, all combined together, which is great. It's a useful tool, but the way town centers work is that you have to garrison 6 villagers inside of it, and then after that, you get it turns into a town center that can create its own villages. Little trash talking going on. It's fun just kind of helping her out and see how she goes. She's getting better at the game. I've instructed her on how to start off by putting 6 villagers onto her apple trees and then eventually putting more people on wood. I just don't want her to see her getting wiped out very early by people that are just better than her. Okay. Just breaking out a man joke. Here we go.
Yes, great one. Yes, great one.
I'm gonna build up a...
Tis done.
Gonna build up a stable here so I can get some scouting done. I'm not really sure what type of map this is. It's just random. Everything here is random, except for civilizations.
Yes, great one.
Good. We got the food income that's turning out well. Got a second town center now. So we should be able to outproduce them economically. Now what's likely to happen is these three are likely to ally up against each other. Green is mediocre. He's not that good. He usually keeps to himself, but he's decent enough. Yoro Swagu, or Gwan I'll call him, he's very much a turtle sort of character. He builds very slowly and takes a long time to get to where he wants to be. But once he does, he just builds gigantic armies, so I'd like to eliminate him as quick as I can. Also, this Joe, he's the most mediocre out there. He's medium, sort of middle of the road between being the sort of aggressive person I am in the game versus Guan, who's more of a defensive person with his gameplay. So right now I need to look for some gold. If I'm going to be recruiting Chevalier, I need some good cavalry because I'm French. Probably put up a tower just to ward off any early attacks between my 2 town centers. And I could use some more food coming in. So, depending on what you guys want to see in regards to what this game has to offer, I can do some really cool stuff. I've made some really awesome maps before where it's like a map of the world, which is really fun to play on. You can imagine seeing Carthage declare war on, you know, Turkey or something, and then everything just, all hell breaks loose. So I could be developing some really cool maps if you guys want to see that and playing on that with multiplayer. If you guys are interested in the campaign, maybe might be able to go through the campaign and check some of that out. I found that it was sort of weak, but some people seem to like it. So really, guys, this is sort of, I'm just doing this for you guys. I want to know what you guys want to see. So if you guys are active in the comments and that, then absolutely not a problem. I can bring you guys what you'd like to see. Right now we want to focus on scouting and getting the economy going. So the idea is you want to try to create as many town centers as possible. I usually like to cap out about 6 or 7, and then from there you can create an assload of villagers that could cut down all of these trees and that, and then expand into the gold mines. The gold mines can have 6 people on them each. Right now I've got 3, but I just want to keep the wood production going, so I'm going to expand onto that gold mine with another 3 people. We want to make sure that we have the food ability to actually be creating villagers at the rate that we need to. So right now we've got not that many villagers on food, so we can't really sustain having 2 villagers made every rotation with this town center, right? So what would be the point in having 2 town centers whenever you can't even keep them supplied. So the idea is you want to make sure you have the farming to make sure that these things are always churning out villagers, which is great. As you can see, she's new, so she's trying to get the stuff going. So the diplomacy's going. We're going to have enough for a chevalier pretty soon if we get enough food together, which I'll do. I just want to go see what's around because I can scout a lot faster than that. Like some villagers just to scout for now. Oh, the French also have this ability that can train them into a militia. So any civilian turns into an infantryman immediately. So it's useful for warding off early attacks, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now, the game plan here is that I want to be going into a... once I hit this First World War, I want to turn into Germany. Because in the Second World War, Germany has access to their wonder, which is the Brandenburg Gate, which continually generates gold, which is very good for obvious reasons. But also, they have V2 technology with nukes strapped to them, which is awesome. So I can sit back from my base, build up a big economy with all of these gold mines that I've captured throughout the map, and inside of my walled base have lots of missile bases everywhere, and be able to just remotely destroy an entire person's economy before running them over with things like Zeppelins and elite German infantry. But the key to the Germans is that they have probably the best army, but the thing is that they have a very, very expensive army. Compared to the Russians, everything that they have is really expensive. And also their upgrades in the university and in the armory really are just terrible. They're not that great. So what we need to worry about then is making sure that the university and the armory are upgrading as much as we can from the French upgrades. The French have very good upgrades in the university. They have some where they can steal innovations from other players. Innovations are sort of like upgrades. They're very useful. I like the innovations, but the thing is that you can steal them from other players, so that's going to be really useful in me having contact with people early, so that I can steal their innovations from their places that have very good armories, where mine's going to be lackluster in the end, and then hopefully apply the same upgrades at the end of the game. Oh, right, okay. Good. Awesome. This looks like a small islands map. So that means that if I'm colonizing early, which I'm going to have to do... Okay, this turns out a lot better for my German plan. Because I'm isolated, people will have to maintain navies to be able to destroy me. So because the islands are so small, they're going to have to build up very densely. Okay, they're going to have to build up really densely. So my V2s are going to do a hell of a lot more damage because of the terrain. So I'm going to start building a navy so that I can get enough gold to stop people from capitalizing on these islands too early. I want to be the person capitalizing, damn it. Right, and moving on to that next town center because I'm starting to get the food production to be able to support it. Which all these villagers and the farmers. I don't play the French often. Usually I like to play as the Chinese. They're very versatile. Also, another thing that might be useful is using groups. I've selected all three of these by control clicking. So just holding down control and left clicking. And I do control 5. So now, if you notice, every time I press 5, it'll select all three of my town centers. So it's a lot easier to micro your villagers coming out that way. Just little tips for you guys that play this game online. Or even if you haven't seen the game before and you're just sort of interested in how it works.
Granary complete. Dock complete. Yes, great one. 'Tis done. No sooner said. Dock complete. Tis done. No sooner said. No sooner said. Tis done.
Right, I've started the Navy here, so we should be able to get the Navy going. Now, I want to try to expand whenever I can to a new island to make sure that I can start to capture some of their gold mines. Gold mines are very rare, so I need to make sure that I control as many natural resources and as much territory as I can. As you can see, my economy is starting to expand. I've got 3 town centers now, all full of guys, and they're all producing villagers. I'm getting a decent amount of wood together so that I can actually afford this colony. And I've got a small navy just to escort them in case any other imperialists are thinking the same thing I am. So there should be some neutral islands in the center that should have some hefty amounts of resources. But that's what I'm hoping for here. Eventually I want to try to capture all these gold mines, get my economy going to the point where it's superior to everybody else's. Then hopefully I can get to World War II faster than they can. Land ho! We've discovered another island. And I'm not sure who it belongs to. Hopefully nobody, but let's see.
Yes, great one.
Arrived at the New World, so I'm going to start this gold mine right here, and then turn it into a town center, and then start populating this place. Another cool ability the French have is that they can actually walk through trees. If you watch these villagers, you see that they're actually in the trees. So that proves useful in combat sometimes. You can sort of withdraw to areas that the enemy can't get to. So my colony's arrived and it's starting to become established on this island over here, which is getting to be fun. Right now we've just completed that first one right there. That first colony. Whoa!